Most people use the words rich and wealthy like they mean the same thing. They do not. And the difference between them is not just a matter of vocabulary. It is the difference between a lifestyle that lasts and one that collapses the moment the income stops. Here's the simplest way I can put it. Rich is when you make a lot of money. Wealthy is when you no longer need to. Rich is a number on a paycheck. Wealthy is a number on a balance sheet. Rich can disappear overnight. Wealthy, built correctly, is almost impossible to lose. Most people spend their entire lives chasing rich. The ones who actually end up free chase something completely different. And in the next 8 minutes, I am going to show you exactly what that is, why the difference matters more than almost any financial decision you will ever make, and what it actually looks like to move from one to the other. Let's get into it. Rich is income dependent. That is the whole definition. A rich person has high income. A doctor earning $400,000 a year is rich. An athlete earning $5 million a season is rich. A lawyer billing $800 an hour is rich. The money flows in, and it flows in fast. But here's the problem with rich. The moment that income stops, the career ends, the business fails, the contract runs out, so does everything built on top of it. The house, the cars, the lifestyle, the image. All of it was being funded by the income. None of it was being funded by assets. There is a term in personal finance called the golden handcuffs. It describes high earners who are completely trapped by their own lifestyle. They earn enormous amounts of money and spend enormous amounts of money. And because their spending has scaled with their income, sometimes beyond their income, they cannot afford to stop working. Not for a month. Sometimes not for a week. Studies consistently show that a significant percentage of professional athletes, people who earned more in a single season than most people earn in a lifetime, go broke within a few years of retirement. Not because they were stupid, because they were rich without being wealthy. The same pattern shows up in lottery winners, in executives who get laid off after 20 years at the top, in entertainers whose careers fade. Rich without wealth is a countdown clock. It looks extraordinary from the outside right up until the moment it is not. Wealthy is asset dependent. That is the whole definition. A wealthy person has assets that generate income whether they work or not. Their money works for them. They could stop working tomorrow, and their financial position would either hold steady or continue to grow. The technical term for this is passive income exceeding living expenses. When the money coming in from what you own is greater than the money going out for how you live, you are wealthy, not rich, wealthy. And here's the critical thing. You do not need to earn a fortune to become wealthy. Wealth is not about the size of the income. It is about the gap between what you earn, what you spend, and what you convert into assets that keep working after you stop. A teacher earning $60,000 a year who consistently invests 20% of their income into index funds and keeps their expenses flat can become genuinely wealthy over a working lifetime. A surgeon earning $600,000 a year who spends $580,000 of it on a lifestyle is just rich. And one bad year away from financial chaos. Wealth is built in the gap between income and spending, the gap between what you earn today and what your assets will earn tomorrow. The wider you make that gap and the longer you hold it, the more inevitable wealth becomes. There are 3 specific traps that prevent high earners from ever converting rich into wealthy. Trap 1, lifestyle inflation. Every time income goes up, spending goes up to match it. Bigger house, newer car, more expensive holidays, better restaurants. The income grows, but the gap never does. Because the lifestyle is always one step ahead. Lifestyle inflation is the single most common reason high earners end up with nothing to show for decades of enormous income. Trap 2, status spending. Rich is visible. Wealth is often invisible. This is one of the most important distinctions in personal finance. The person driving the $150,000 car and living in the $3 million house may be deeply in debt. The person driving a 5-year-old sedan and living in a modest home may own $4 million in index funds and real estate. Status spending burns money on things that look like wealth but produce nothing. Assets produce income. A luxury watch does not. A second holiday home that costs more to run than it generates does not. Status is the enemy of the gap, and the gap is where wealth lives. Trap 3. No financial plan past the next paycheck. Rich people often have no plan beyond keeping the income coming in. Wealthy people have a plan for what happens when it stops. Building wealth requires deliberately converting income into assets, index funds, real estate, businesses, before lifestyle, before status, before anything else. Pay yourself first is not a motivational phrase. It is the entire strategy. The move from rich to wealthy is not about earning more. It is about converting more. Step 1. Know your number. Your wealth number is the point at which your assets generate enough passive income to cover your expenses. If you spend $4,000 a month and your investments return 5% annually, you need $960,000 in assets to be wealthy. That is your target. Everything else is just progress toward it. Step 2. Protect the gap aggressively. Before lifestyle inflation gets a chance to swallow your next raise, redirect it. Every income increase is an opportunity to widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The wealthy do not upgrade their lifestyle every time their income grows. They upgrade their asset base. Step 3. Put assets first, automatically. Set up automatic monthly investment contributions before you see the money. Index funds, real estate, whatever your vehicle of choice is. Make the investment non-negotiable and let lifestyle compete for whatever is left, not the other way around. Step 4. Think in decades, not months. Wealthy is not built in a quarter. It is built over a working lifetime of consistent, boring, automatic decisions that compound quietly in the background until one day the passive income exceeds the expenses and you are free. Rich is impressive. Wealthy is free. Rich is the doctor who cannot afford to retire. Wealthy is the teacher who did. The goal has never been the big income. The goal has always been the point where the income no longer matters, because your assets took over. Most people never get there because nobody explained the difference clearly enough early enough. Now you know it. Protect the gap, build the assets, think in decades. If this video gave you something to think about, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.